In a show already packed with controversy, Jules' graphic cling-wrap scene in Euphoria Season 3 is one of the most extreme. After being absent from the controversial Euphoria Season 3 premiere, Jules appeared in Episode 2, reconnecting with Rue and showing her the luxurious downtown LA penthouse she lives in, courtesy of her sugar daddy. While the most recent episode, The Ballad of Paladin, mainly centers on Nate and Cassie's red wedding, it does reveal what Jules has been up to since high school. While studying at art school, Jules' roommate sells her on the idea of working as a sugar baby. After her first date with a wealthy older man, Jules is shocked at the staggering amount of money she made from so little work. Before long, the fan-favorite Euphoria character finds a particularly generous benefactor in a rich plastic surgeon named Ellis, True Blood's Sam Trammell. Jules is making so much easy money from him that she drops out of art school to rake in even more, with Ellis becoming her only client. This leads to the shocking scene in which Jules stands in the center of the penthouse, almost entirely naked. Ellis approaches with a giant roll of cling wrap, and slowly and methodically begins to wrap it around Jules' entire naked body in a practice known as mummification. He stands back to admire his handiwork, whispering to Jules, "I just might keep you forever," before the dramatic music reaches a crescendo. Viewers, particularly those not familiar with mummification, may be scandalized, but there's a bigger problem with the scene than gratuitousness. Jules' cling-wrap mummification scene is dangerous, when not done correctly. For those wondering why anyone would want to have their movement entirely restricted by being encased in cling wrap, BDSM expert and dominatrix Melissa Todd broke it down for Lad Bible, saying, "You want to be out of control, and it's a kind of bondage that you do without any sort of pain really. Just having every inch of your body controlled by somebody else is just thrilling. It's just the best way to relax is just having every responsibility taken from you in this totally physical, obviously visual way." Mummification is the ultimate form of power exchange because the submissive, Jules, is entirely at the mercy of the dominant, Ellis. This type of fetish makes sense for Ellis, given that he pays her enough to ensure he is the only man she sees and muses about the idea of keeping her forever. Like Cassie's age play and pet play scenes earlier in Euphoria Season 3, mummification may be off-putting or problematic for many viewers, but for others, it's a natural kink between consenting adults. However, unlike the play Cassie engages in, mummification has much higher risks, and precautions must be taken to perform it safely. It's imperative that the submissive has a clear airway to breathe. In Euphoria, both Jules's mouth and nostrils are uncovered. Scissors should be kept nearby in case the sub panics or otherwise needs to immediately be free of their bondage, and, most importantly, the dom must monitor the sub at all times. Todd discussed a tragic 2014 case in which a UK man was found guilty of manslaughter through gross negligence and sentenced to 5 years in prison after his BDSM play partner died of a heart attack while mummified in cling wrap during a consensual session. Since Todd also noted that seeing an unfamiliar kink depicted in mainstream media can lead to people trying it themselves, the expert implored any potential practitioners, "For God's sake, don't leave people alone, just keep checking in on them." Any type of BDSM play should be discussed and negotiated between partners beforehand for myriad reasons, from the physical to the psychological. Todd's final piece of advice was that extreme physical kink play, such as mummification, should only be done with trusted partners. In other words, don't do it with somebody you just met on Tinder. Euphoria Season 3's real controversy is using BDSM as a metaphor for suffering. While it might seem like Season 3's depiction of these fetishes is edgy and progressive, they're not being portrayed in a positive or even a neutral light. It's quite the opposite, they're a gratuitous way to show the Euphoria character's suffering. In The Ballad of Paladin, Jules may be thrilled at her lavish lifestyle, but Rue's narration makes it clear that it comes at a cost, even if Jules doesn't realize it yet. Ellis has completely isolated her from the world, with Jules abandoning her education, her roommate and friend, and even other forms of human contact from her previous clients. Euphoria hair department head Kim Kimball discussed Jules' new look and waist-length blonde wig with Decider, saying, "She's like a modern-day Rapunzel trapped up in the tower and letting down her tresses." This is a brilliant metaphor, but incorporating the mummification on top of that portrays the fetish as an abusive tool in which Ellis is controlling Jules. Meanwhile, Cassie's R-rated pet play and age play scenes, while goofier in tone, also belie her internal suffering and her deep-rooted need for male validation. She's not engaging in these fetishes because she enjoys them. Rather, she wants adoration from strangers on the internet because she knows her now husband's is in short supply. Euphoria didn't used to be this way. In Season 1, Kat found empowerment through online camming, and the show actually explained the concept of a pay pig. It was still a controversial storyline, but it was authentic and allowed viewers to draw their own conclusions and opinions. Meanwhile, Season 3 portrays BDSM as sad and problematic. This approach closes minds before many have even had a chance to open.